From Dark Ritual to Ancestral Recall, nerds love casting powerful cards, but if there's one thing they love even more, it's locking their opponents out of the game completely. This is Staxually. Hello folks, Phil Gallagher aka ThrabenU here for another Legacy video. And this morning I recorded a Stax League, and it went really well. And at the end of the league, I went, I think I can do even better. So I'm going to use a dealer's choice donation deck list from Nick to run this back. So Nick, thank you very much for supporting the channel. And to everyone else, the donation queue is a little light right now. So if you want to see some sweet stuff on the channel, that information is available in every video description. So that being said, I've rebuilt this deck. I hope for the better. So last time around, Grim Monolith was basically a spirit guide. So why not just play more spirit guides? If games of Legacy are being decided on turns 1, 2, and 3 almost every time, what is the downside of playing this card? It's close to zero. If we can just accelerate into our, maybe not game-ending cards, but our game-defining cards almost immediately, that sounds awesome. And I have cut the City of Traders from the mana base since I am adding more spirit guides to fit in more things that are going to tax our opponent's resources. I found myself frustrated that I had boarded out Expedition Map a couple of different times because I specifically wanted to tutor up Ghost Quarter, so why not just play 4 in my Crucible of Worlds deck that can replay them from the graveyard anyway? And I've got a Singleton Mine and Power Plant here as well that can combine with Planar Nexus, which did do very, very well for us in this league, giving us another big mana angle to do busted things with Karn. This deck is very much trying to not lose the game immediately and pivot into winning much later. But the wins came very, very quickly with this deck. Both times. I got a 5-0 and a 4-1 with this deck, I think in like 45 minutes both times for overall edited video length. Note that I have upgraded the Thorn of Amethysts from the previous versions to Sphere of Resistances. After I recorded, I realized that Sphere basically isn't any worse for us than Thorn of Amethyst because we are like borderline playing 0 creatures. So most of the time, Thorn and Sphere are the same thing to us specifically. Although I have gone up one of these effects from the previous build. With that being said, since this is so similar to something we've recently played on the channel, I'm just going to hop directly into the matches here. And if you need any magic cards for this deck, because it is increasingly looking like this is quite real, at least for the next month, please consider getting the cards you need from my sponsor, TOAMagic.com. And when you do, use promo code ThrabenU to save yourself a little bit on the order. Support me while supporting a great company that has done well by the Eternal community. With that being said, let's battle. Yeah, whatever. We ball. I'll keep this. Oh no. This is the sort of thing that beat us last time around, where it's just a fair creature deck that doesn't care about most of the things in my deck. Yoshimaru is some spice, though. Let's see where this goes. Can wasteland their flagstones. Wait. Do I just play Urza Saga on 1? Just Saga, turn 2, Planar Nexus, Spirit Guide activate it, turn 3, Spirit Guide activate it again, and then go into Crucible of Worlds? Seems fine, honestly. Iganjo Castle, which is a legendary land. Oh, we're doing Halia, just with different art. Okay. This dog is going to get big. There's an Ocelot Pride as well. Yep, seems good. So then opponent gets a cat and does the Halia stuff. I believe that I am trying to outscale these creatures. It's just a little awkward. There is more other Iganjo. This is now a 4-4. Opponent is cooking. It's such a shame that this has first strike, otherwise I would get the sickest Simian Spirit Guide blowout here. I will be at 11. I think opponent is operating under the same general play pattern I am, of just jam stuff as quickly as possible. Oof, there's so many cats. So this is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 damage next turn. I can block 2 of these creatures, I'm not technically dead. But I suspect the damage is now done, as this still happens. Alright, that's not anything that answers these. Let's just do a quick check here. None of those are going to get the job done. Maybe I should have put a tabby in here to search for off of Expedition Map. That would have gotten me there in this spot. Alright, GG. Disruptor Flute is a thing for Ajani Planeswalker. My opponent has a bunch of weird lands that Pithing Needle can do stuff on. Presumably Chalice is quite good against my opponent's deck still. Crucible is probably very good still. Flagstones is just annoying. I can maybe board in some of the things that look like this and just naturally draw them. Maybe same with Walking Ballista. And then this sort of stuff is the Karn fodder. Sphere is still quite good when I am on the play. Thorn is not. How many of these do I want? Like, do I just want to run back the game 1 deck and now I just know what I'm up against? I'm just going to board in the Ballista. Sphere over Thorn is a big deal in terms of deck construction. This just plays a Karn on turn 1. Yeah, just Karn immediately go for Liquimetal Coating in. And turn 1 Karn is just a thing we can do versus combo decks too. That wasn't, like, super on my radar. But here we are. There's Karn. Karn minus. Say yes. Get coding. The land destruction machine is here. You need to play, like, Flagstones plus creature, maybe? Guide of Souls. That's an okay card. So I will make a land drop. Take 2 for coding. Your Plains is an artifact. Your Plains is dead. I'm gonna play a Pithing Needle. And we're gonna name Ajani. Oop, where did my game go? Okay, cool. Pass turn there. Because that Planeswalker is a thing that can kill me if I get Ensnaring Bridge in play. And I don't think I want to name Wasteland when I intend on doing an Ensnaring Bridge lock on this game. Like, that is my path to victory here. Chalice is cool here. So land drop, coding, plus on castle. We'll take some more damage here. Ensnaring Bridge, and then do a Chalice on 0 so that I am fully hellbent. And my opponent doesn't get to continue making cats. And now I will destroy every land that my opponent plays. Yeah, no, take your energy. You may have friends. Coding. Continue the process. Play a skateboard. Tap down your favorite cat. Alright, now opponent is out of land. So Karn can do other things. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. This will be 5. Mystic Forge is reasonable. Nah. I'm going to get a second Ensnaring Bridge. I want that comfort of knowing that a single removal spell on one of those isn't going to do it. My opponent has some weird Static Prison style card. There's Ghost Quarter. I think I will just Karn plus on nothing here, increase Karn's loyalty. And then as soon as I draw a land, I will get Lattice. There is a Chalice. Go ahead and put a Chalice on 1, plus on Karn. Opponent passes right back. And they are at the point where they are full on discarding. They have Mox Amber, which I made not a thing due to Chalice of the Void on 0. What a genius I am. Minus. Yes. Lattice. Alright, so now none of my opponent's lands ever work, and we can just kill our opponent with whatever. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. At some point I'll extinguish her battleship and kill all of these things. Now I'll minus. Say yes. Get Mystic Forge. And this will give me a lot of card advantage over time. I can pay life to filter through things more quickly as well. But I'm just okay drawing the land. There's land. Karn plus on nothing. We'll pay a life and get rid of that one. Alright, there's a Walking Ballista. Awesome. Pay 2 more life for that as well. Beautiful. And now I can just funnel mana into this as I please. Karn will plus on Wasteland. I will play a new Karn. Keep the new Karn. Okay, yeah, like I don't know what you were doing for the last 3 minutes. The game was over. Run it back. I think run it back. So my opponent could get ahead of this. This is otherwise a very powerful hand with 2 Planar Nexus and Urza's Tower. I can wasteland my opponent off of a non-legendary land as well. All right, that is a Warped Halia, Mox Amber, Guide of Souls, and that's just going to warp out. That's fine. Like, I'll take out Caracas, which also shuts off Mox Amber in the short term. Get out of there. Opponent will take 3, do another Halia. Mox Amber turns back on. Ocelot Pride I don't want to see. That was presumably my opponent's draw for this turn, otherwise that would have happened already. I am at 19. Opponent will get another cat and another life. This is too much Sphere of Resistance. My opponent's hand is largely going to be empty after this turn. I can probably keep the Halias from coming back down. This doesn't make mana right now. What the fuck is this? Mike and Leo, Chaos and Order. Whenever you put a counter on a creature you control, draw a card. Triggers once a turn. Okay, got it. So then my opponent gets another cat. I have a decent amount of mana. I can't double Sphere of Resistance, unfortunately. I think this might come... no, I think I've drawn too many lands to get Ensnaring Bridge online. Ooh, that's devastating. Please Wasteland Planar Nexus, nice. This is a lot of damage, though. I think I just get run over. Maybe my Wasteland double Sphere thing wasn't good enough. Yeah, so like I can put this in play, but these are all small creatures. Yeah, maybe I should have just mulliganed for something that had Ensnaring Bridge in the opener there. GG. Today's video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, and I love them. I have over 1,000 deck lists here. And I think the thing that I like the most about them is they're more than just a basic deck builder. If you need information about your next pre-release or where you can get cards, they have that sort of stuff here too. Whether you need to manage your collection or just a couple of decks, Moxfield does it all. So go check them out. All right, opening hand maybe doesn't quite have enough mana. I've got a disappearing land. I think I'll just chip this one. I think I can find something pretty similar. Yeah, I am in for this. 1 tower goes back. And I think I am just going to put this on Wasteland on turn 1 blind. Opponent has Flooded Strand, Underground Sea, and a Thoughtseize. Pick which one of these you would like me to cast. They would like me to cast Trinisphere. I will oblige them, and it will be a Trinisphere that is done around days, if that is at all relevant. Force pitching Tamiyo. Alright. Hey, we did a thing. There is Flow State. That will be worth 2 cards. But I have Urza Saga that hopefully can just kind of run away with this game. Lol, Karn, lol. Yep. Saga. There's Karn. Karn's resolved. I think I just Karn plus and don't put something into my hand where it can be taken by another discard spell. So Tamiyo Clues are off the table, Lotus Petal is off the table if my opponent is playing a combo deck. Opponent has another Flow State, which is fine. There's a basic land. There is a Nethergoyf. Yeah, you've got it. My Urza Saga tokens are kind of just bigger than that. Do I just want to bridge? Doing bridge seems fine. Like, it slows down my ability to end the game with Urza Saga construct tokens, but this Karn is nearing just cast Mycosynth Lattice and win the game territory. Underground Sea comes down. Nethergoyf cannot attack. Urza Saga does its thing. There is a Sphere of Resistance, which is fine. I will, I think, still keep making friends. Expedition Map seems fine to float in play. Then 2 mana for Sphere of Resistance. Alright, cool. That has resolved. I will now Expedition Map. I have no access to a Wasteland effect yet. I could grab Ghost Quarter. Also just get another tower. Do tower. Karn minus. Say yes. Grab Coding. Cast Coding. And now I have Coding as Rishadan port that will start destroying lands after this. Orcish Bowmasters, yeah, sure. A second Bowmasters would be annoying and would slow me down a bit. Oh, it is a second Bowmasters. I forgot to Coding my opponent in upkeep while I was talking. Okay, I mean, that'll kill Karn. Maybe I shouldn't have gone for Coding. Could have just continued to plus. Let's get some cards out of hand. Cast. Offensive card. Opponent has a Tamiyo. Tamiyo can attack through Ensnaring Bridge. Ooh, this is now officially a problem. Alright. Land drop. I don't think I'm getting up to enough cards in hand for my creatures to effectively attack, so I'm just going to play these out. Tamiyo continues to plus. 5 mana Kaito. Oh, that's really annoying. Now my opponent has a Surveil Machine as well. Yeah, I wonder if I just lost this game for getting Coding. Because now Tamiyo just goes to 8, Kaito can Surveil. Kind of need to stick another bridge before that Tamiyo ultimates. That is not mana denial right now because Pithing Needle is on Wasteland. So my opponent gets half of their deck, which presumably wins. I never got something like Crucible down, just Crucible Urza Saga every turn. And I am flooding pretty badly here. Wow, my opponent just straight up can't beat Ensnaring Bridge. Just 0 outs to it. Sick. GG. So Tamiyo is potentially a problem card that breaks apart my Ensnaring Bridge soft win strategy. That's maybe something that I should aggressively attack via Disruptor Flute. There's other things I can do like Soul Guide Lantern to clear my opponent's graveyard. I think one of these becomes this, and then the question is how many Sphere of Resistance effects do I want? I think Expedition Map is going to become another one of these. It does seem like the Planeswalkers are the most problematic things. It's just much harder to Disruptor Flute immediately than it is to Sphere of Resistance immediately. What if it's not Chalice, actually? What if it's this? Yeah, I kind of like this. Do I play 1 Chalice? Or do I just put the Expedition Map back in the deck? I'm going to put the Expedition Map back in the deck. My opponent threaded that game well. They just did not have the tools to win in the end game there. Opening hand's okay. I've got an Ensnaring Bridge. I've got a Disruptor Flute that I can use a couple of different ways. I think I'll keep it. It's a little sus. Nethergoyf immediately is fine. This is so much Spirit Guide. I kind of want to end of turn Disruptor Flute on Force of Will and then play Ensnaring Bridge. I could also just Disruptor Flute on Wasteland immediately, since I am land light. Ooh. Alright. I may be starting a fight that I don't want to do here because it just ends up growing the Nethergoyf. Alright, that is resolved. I'm just going to name Force of Will. And I'll only take 1 here. 19. Draw step? Surgical Extraction on a land, sure. So I can jam Ensnaring Bridge now. I don't think that's correct. I think I'm going to pass the turn. There's games of playing around Consign and Daze here. Flow state is fine. I will take 3 from this, which is not that big of a deal. Crucible is great. I probably do that now over Bridge. So there's Crucible. All right, cool. Now hopefully I take another hit or 2 from Nethergoyf and then lock it out via Ensnaring Bridge. Oh, it's Kaito. Yeah, that's perfectly reasonable. Opponent can Surveil. Says no to Flooded Strand. Now I will Wasteland Underground Sea. Redeploy this. Here's Pithing Needle, which I will put on Kaito. And while I'm at it, I'll go ahead and Wasteland off of this as well. I can take a little damage from Kaito, but I have hopefully locked my opponent out of playing that Nethergoyf. I'll take some Kaito damage. Bloodstained Mire comes down. This is the Nethergoyf again. I need to resolve this bridge. That Karn is not helping me do that. This is where I want the Trinisphere style cards. So I can play bridge, but it's dazeable. If I don't play it here, I take a lot of damage. Daze and Consign both get this. That is probably going to be true indefinitely moving forward. I think I'm just hoping this resolves. I think I'm in a bad spot. All right, it does resolve. Great. Now I just need to get the Karns out of hand. I don't have cool tricks where I Ghost Quarter myself to search for basic lands. We did not have room for basic lands in this mana base. 2 mana. There's a Brazen Borrower. Sure. Alright, yeah. I might just get tempoed out here. Down to 4. Yeah, I am just going to get tempoed out here. We'll have to go to another game. I now have confirmation that my opponent has sideboard Brazen Borrower, so Ensnaring Bridge is possible to get out of play. Chalice a little better when I'm on the play. I could like lower my overall mana value by getting rid of Trinispheres and playing more Chalices. My opponent's got a bunch of weird stuff at mana above 1 though. I think I still conceptually like the Trinisphere. Yeah, this is totally fine. I get the Spirit Guide to help force one thing forward, or play one thing around a daze. I think it's just this. I think I just slam this immediately. It makes both of these more awkward, but I'm not actually expecting this to resolve. Oh, it did. Sure. Bloodstain Mire, opponent passes. Are we doing this? Kind of looks like we're doing this. This was very much not the plan, but it makes like leading on Thorn on turn 1 a lot better. The opponent can fetch and surveil at end of turn. It opens him up to Wasteland at some point this game. Probably not immediately. Like, I am probably going the skateboard aggro route here. Trigger. Okay, I get consigned. So, do I just want to wasteland my opponent's lands here? That seems fine. Expedition map still in my deck. Yeah, that's fine. Getcha. That was a very awkward consign for me. I lost a lot of value. Alright. So, I will float mana. Opponent. Are you gonna surgical my wastelands now? Oh, you're just avoiding Pithing Needle. I see. Okay. Reasonable. Alright. There's Expedition map to play. Then go ahead and crack this, pick up a Planar Nexus, drop Tower, and pass. And then next turn, I have a lot of mana. Like, I will be able to Trinisphere and then Ensnaring Bridge. Oh wait, I have Thorn of Amethyst in play. That's a little worse than I thought. I will have a lot of mana, though. 2 mana for a Ponder. Ooh, if my opponent doesn't have any open mana, then all my stuff just resolves next turn. Okay, all my stuff will resolve this turn. That means that I don't even need to expose Planar Nexus to Wasteland this turn. That's kind of sweet, actually. Yeah, so let's go 3 mana. Oh, fuck. I forgot about my Thorn. Oh, that was a very bad play. Hopefully it works itself out. I get to play Planar Nexus and then have multiple Urza's Towers that tap for 3 at the same time, so I'm hoping that everything is fine in that regard. Crucible Wasteland, kind of sweet. I need to do this, though. So I have 2 different 4 mana plays. So first, I will 4 mana Trinisphere, and if my opponent has a Force of Will, this forces the action on it. And then I actually get to resolve Ensnaring Bridge 100% of the time. Although my opponent will get 1 attack with these before I start emptying my hand. And get a little weird if I get wastelanded and don't draw a land. But I know that my opponent doesn't have mana right now. I suppose I need to not draw another Karn specifically. Opponent's casting something. It is a Murktide Regent. That makes Nethergoyfs smaller and potentially able to attack. So I have 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 mana. Kind of seems like Karn or a second Ensnaring Bridge. I want to play this land from hand. So there's Karn. Karn minus. Say yes. There's Ensnaring Bridge, which I will cast. These Nethergoyfs can attack, but even if they get larger via an instant in the middle of combat, they're still not killing me. There's Flooded Strand. Karn is dead. Simian Spirit Guide is fine. Here is a Crucible. That's good enough to get my opponent to respond. All right, there's a Force of Will. There is a 5 mana Karn. And I think I will Karn plus on nothing immediately. And then next turn, I can grab something relevant. I don't have to worry about Spirit Guide Trixies here. Oh, I think opponent's got another Murktide. which case I can exile the Spirit Guide if my opponent tries to make Nethergoyfs into 1/2s. Okay, they're going to go for Petty Theft on Karn. Sure. So we will go to combat. I will exile a Spirit Guide. Nethergoyfs cannot attack. There's another Ensnaring Bridge. There's a Karn. There's an Ensnaring Bridge. I will Karn plus on nothing. Opponent is fighting the good fight. There's a Wasteland. That's not enough to knock me off of all of the stuff that I am capable of doing. I have 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 mana. Let's, I suppose, start here. All right, that has resolved. My opponent could still cast something. I might just Karn plus again. I don't think I need to cast anything here. And I'll just do this when I have more mana. I don't want to get caught with something weird that bounces a couple permanents to my hand, and I, like, end up making my Ensnaring Bridges non-functional. All right. Okay, Disruptor Flute could name a counterspell here. I think I'm just going to save that. I don't know, I can cast it. Planeswalkers are a way that I potentially lose, so I can go bam, bam, bam. That's Lattice, and still have mana to Disruptor Flute. I can also get Karn's Silex first and use that to shut off Force of Will before going for my win. Just keep shutting off things. Okay, I successfully used that to stop a Force of Will. Seems good. I will pass the turn there. None of that stuff can attack, so I'm good on that angle. Cast a Disruptor Flute. I guess Consign would still be castable. Let's make it so that Kaito doesn't do stuff. Could also name Wasteland there, and that would be perfectly reasonable as well. 3 mana for a Sphere of Resistance, which doesn't do a ton because of Trinisphere. Karn minus, say yes. I have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. Still just kind of feels like I don't go for my best cards. There's Mystic Forge. Mystic Forge is done around all relevant stuff. Okay, Crucible is great. There's a soft win condition that I can play. Surgical Extraction on Urza Saga. Yeah, that's a little annoying. Right when I have Crucible on top of my deck. Now I have a Spirit Guide that I will get rid of. I will start wastelanding my opponent off of all of their resources. This is fine. Pay a life, exile that. Pay another life and get rid of this one as well. I don't want to go too low. Yeah, nice. This is what I'm looking for. Oh, and another Karn. Beautiful. There's a Crucible. There's a Wasteland. I will start going after your lands. I think I just Karn plus this turn. Ah, yes, Ponder. And now that my opponent has tapped out, and I know that Trinisphere keeps my opponent from casting anything else, this is where I can just fully go for Mycosynth Lattice, and it works 100% of the time. So Wasteland from Graveyard, Karn minus, say yes. There's Mycosynth Lattice, and that's the lock. My opponent's lands now don't work. We're good to go. And I can just kind of win however. Take out a land there, replay land there, Karn plus, play new Karn, keep the one with more loyalty, Karn plus, play Trinisphere, and we're good to go. Again, my opponent can't do anything ever, so I don't need to like worry about filtering things off the top of my deck or anything like that. I will continue going for the flawless victory. New Karn, keep new Karn, Karn plus on Wasteland, play this, Karn minus, say yes. There's Walking Ballista, which I will cast. Yeah. I played that one super patiently. I probably could have ended this game 5 minutes ago, but I just didn't see the need to. And we're beating the blue decks, we're beating the combo decks. Stupid white decks, they're beating us apparently. GG's, on to the next one. Alright. Opening hand is totally fine here. It says they love the podcast. If you don't know that I have a podcast, I am a member of the Eternal Glory podcast. We record every other week. Believe it or not, we usually talk about Legacy. Here is a Sphere of Resistance, and I'm going to remove this upkeep stop on my turn. I don't need that unless I am doing Mystic Forge stuff. Does Sphere Resolve? Sphere Resolves. Great start. Because I can follow it up with more Sphere of Resistance and then 2 copies of Wasteland. More Dimir nonsense. Surprise, surprise. Love that. 2 more life. Here's another disco ball for you. Resolves. Opponent fetches. Get your Surveil land. Your Surveil land that will eat it to my Wasteland. Opponent puts a card on top. It is a Wasteland. Sure. You like to Wasteland me? You would like to Wasteland me. We'll see how that turns out for you. I Wasteland you back? Yeah, I think I just Wasteland you back. I'm the Crucible deck. This is probably favorable to me on average. And then if they miss a land drop, I will just play Urza's Saga. They did not. Oh, it's Crucible. Crucible costs 5 mana. That's a lot of mana. It'll be real good. Do I want a 3 mana Pithing Needle? I think I do. Like, if this is a combo deck, I've probably already won. And if this is a fair deck, then Pithing Needle stopping my opponent's... Oh, shit. They just let it resolve. Blooded Strand. Done. Done, 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 done. Another island. Urza's Saga sticks around. I could do something other than activate Urza's Saga, but I'm just going to activate Urza's Saga. My opponent does not have access to removal at this time. And I would love it for them to, like, cast a Ponder on their turn. And then I body them with Saga. So let's go ahead and activate this again. I have 2 5/5s, soon to be 6 6s. Expedition map is cool, but I think I just skateboard. Bam. Tap down a land. Equip skateboard here. Yeah. That was pretty gross. GG. I don't know what my opponent is playing for sure, but my guess would be that this is Quantum Riddler blue-white control, in which case I probably don't sideboard, and I just assume that a pile of these cards gets me there somehow. I could board in some Disruptor Flutes, because I know specifically that some cards like Consign to Memory are a little bit of a pain. Okay, my opening hand looks totally fine. I can decide whether or not I want to Needle Wasteland on the first turn or play Sphere of Resistance on the first turn. Opponent plays Delta. This means Consign is available. I don't know that I need to jam a great card immediately. Opponent fetches this time. You only get to use that trick once. I'm just going to name Wasteland. Opponent is fetching basics proactively anyway. Blooded Strand comes down on my opponent's turn, and we are chilling. Classic combo. I'm going to go ahead and deploy a Sphere. I fully do not expect this card to resolve. Yeah. It's Murktide Regent. End of turn Felia, Blink Pithing Needle, Wasteland me is a thing that can happen. It did not happen, and I'm very thankful for that. I want as much time as possible to durdle before my opponent takes game actions. I think you don't play that Polluted Delta until after you ponder. Oh, no, sorry. I have a Pithing Needle in play on Wasteland. JK. I take that back. Ooh, Crucible. Crucible doesn't do anything yet. Neither does Ensnaring Bridge. Do I just jam Karn 2 turns in a row? I'm down for that. I feel like this one probably eats a Consign. I don't know that either of those are good enough to eat a Consign. Daze instead. Sure. No Spirit Guide to punish. No end of turn surveilling or anything. All right, now we are on to big mana. Let's start emptying my hand. Bridge has resolved. I will take 2 and play Crucible. And long-term Crucible Ghost Quarter is very good. Opponent fetches. They have 3 basics. I would like to find Ghost Quarter. There is a Riddler, which does not get to attack. I don't imagine that my opponent would consign that trigger even if they had a consign. I can jam the Karn into my opponent's 3 cards before they draw more cards with Riddler. It's like okay to do so. It doesn't feel great. I would prefer to wait. Got a Karn tagged by Days earlier. Ooh, Karn just resolves. Karn minus 2, 4, 5 mana available. This is a time where I could Mystic Forge. Mystic Forge is pretty sweet here. I think I just like coding. So then I'll pass turn, and in upkeep, I'm going to make it so that my opponent's white source doesn't do anything for the turn, because one of my opponent's big outs from here would be a Wrath of the Skies that just obliterates all of my stuff at the same time. So I'm just going to make that not happen. There is a Tundra. There is a Tamiyo, sure. New Riddler, perhaps? Or Prismatic Ending on my coding. Prismatic Ending on my coding. 1 card remaining. So this is just, is your last card consigned to memory? If no, you lose. I am okay with that being a thing. Lattice. That last card consign. That last card is not consign. In which case, my opponent has lost, and we have gotten the GG in chat. And there is a 2-0 win. We are now 2-1. Across 3 leagues, we have beaten everything except for the white creature decks. Great place to be. GG. What do you think, chat? Do we keep 7 mana sources? Nah? Alright. Keep. What do? Shove Trinisphere on turn 1 is pretty appealing. I think that's what I'm going to do. I could start with Chalice on 1 on turn 1, into Trinisphere on turn 2, and throw Expedition Map back into the deck instead of using it to search for Urza Saga. That's okay as well. Alright. This way, if my opponent has a Force of Will, the worse card gets Force of Willed. Chalice has stuck. Basic Island. Sure. Here's 3 ball. Does that one resolve? That one gets Force of Willed. Unfortunate. Hopefully I can Wasteland my opponent from here. If not, we might do some Ape Spirit beatdown. Savannah! Okay. Okay! Fascinating. Birthing Ritual? Birthing Ritual seems likely. Take my opponent off of green for that reason. I don't think I'm gonna just play a Spirit Guide as a creature yet. If that's an island, that doesn't cast Birthing Ritual. I can basically sit here indefinitely versus a Veteran Explorer. Okay. Like, no. I'm just gonna save it for if I draw a Karn. I don't want to block Veteran Explorer anyway. It's like disastrous to do so. Thorn of Amethyst. Sure. We'll use my green Spirit Guide to do that. It has resolved. It is very unclear to me what is in my opponent's hand because I don't know. Oh, nice. That's a real finisher. My opponent can just, like, stop attacking with Veteran Explorer, though, and then I can't super attack with the Construct tokens. But this is all fine. Going back to my previous thought. Ooh, there's so many colors in this deck. Another Urza's Saga. Yeah, I mean, I'll play that for sure. Pass turn here. Orcish Bowmasters. Oh no, you're going to ping your Veteran Explorer, aren't you? Cheeky. You know what? I will search my deck for basic lands. Dang. I didn't find any. So this mana base is supporting green, white, blue, black, and Veteran Explorer basic lands. That's kind of crazy. Alright, opponent is chilling. End of turn. I will make a friend. There's 3 ball. I think I take 2 to do this. This Urza Saga gains ability. I sacrifice this Urza Saga for Expedition Map. I do Planar Nexus using 1 Spirit Guide to go and get Tower. Then Tower alone supports this. I have 1 mana left over. I can go 3 mana Sphere of Resistance and then activate this Saga with double Spirit Guide, which is hilarious. Alright, there's Sphere. Opponent is going to counter that. That's fine. I'll send in You can trade with Strix. I'll just take that out of play in case my read is correct and Birthing Ritual is a thing. It kind of seems like you have to be doing something like Birthing Ritual to make everything that is here worth it. All right, opponent is chilling. End of turn. Untapped Urza's Saga becomes a construct token. Lol. All right, there's another sphere effect. So do this. This time get Skateboard. Tap down that token. This is going to require me to tap Ancient Tomb, but I think that's fine. All right, it's in play. I will now equip Skateboard. This is a swing for theoretical lethal that is almost certainly not going to be actualized lethal, as my opponent has a blocker, but they are at 4. No end of turn play there either. You got some weird Damnation style card in there. They're still playing Magic. It's a Tundra. Can't be Supreme Verdict, can't be Damnation, can't be Wrath of the Skies. Yeah. All right, that was awesome. GG's. So, what am I doing about my opponent's nonsense? I really haven't seen enough to know for sure. Like, do I have to worry about there being an Alurin finish in this deck as well? This many colors feels weird to me. I don't know what I would Pithing Needle, unless there's Tamiyo in the deck, which there could be. Don't know how potent some of my cards are. I just don't know what my opponent is doing. I'm going to sub Pithing Needle for Disruptor Flute since I don't know what I would do with it. And otherwise run back the main deck again. I need a little more mana with this hand. I could keep it just in the hopes that I am on the draw and that things are fine. I have like Wasteland Crucible. I'm gonna just hope that the hand improves 5% over my next 2 draws. Like, all I need is any land. Yeah, and we're just good. I suspect my turn 2 is awkward if this sphere resolves, but I'm just going to cast it anyway. Like, if it resolves, all of this stuff is pushed further away, but my Wasteland gets better. All right, great. I'm actually super happy to see this. Force pitching Flow State. We are the Flow State Nick Fit deck. Good God. Like, I am a Nick Fit enjoyer, don't get me wrong, but Flow State Nick Fit feels like we have drifted too far away from the light. Baleful Strix occurs. Urza's Saga. I don't think I want to play that immediately. I think I want to play my 3 drops first. Burden Catacombs comes down. I will take 1, and that's fine. Opponent only has 4 cards. 3-ball? 3-ball seems good. I could try to bait with Chalice so 3-ball resolves, but at some point I have to play some of my good cards. That is a Consign. That is fine. Consign happening on that so it doesn't happen on my Urza's Saga trigger is cool. Next turn I can do a lot of things next turn. Probably not Karn. When it has a bunch of basics. Pernicious Deed. That makes a lot of my stuff way worse. Oh, Ghost Quarter is a thing. Ghost Quarter is really neat. This card notably doesn't blow up Planeswalkers. So I think I have a bit of a tricksy line here where I can play this Karn. I know it doesn't die to Baleful Strix. I can then Karn minus and pick up a Disruptor Flute that can shut off Pernicious Deed. That seems good. Baleful Strix can give Karn a love tap, but that's not that big of a deal. 3 mana. Barrogoyf. Absolutely. Oh, God. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana is Disruptor Flute plus Mycosynth Lattice, but then the Karn's gone. That's probably fine. I'm just going to confirm that there is still a bridge here. All right. Land drop. 2 mana. Disruptor Flute. Shut this off. Oh, no. Do not name Disruptor Flute with Disruptor Flute. Welcome to things you would never do in real life, but that occasionally happen while you are doing content. Now, Karn minus. Say yes. There's bridge. There's bridge to play. And I think I'm just going to get this out of my hand. Baleful Strix can attack me, but I'll shut off traditional 1-mana cantrips. And then I will look to literally blow up all of my opponent's lands via Ghost Quarter. There's Savannah. Force of Vigor is very strong. Absolutely. That unlocks Pernicious Deed again, which is problematic. Opponent will get to mill some with Barrogoyf. More deeds, Abrupt Decays, Consigns. Okay. My opponent got pissed at the Fantasticar and said, this is Nick Fit with every card that is good against the Fantasticar. I can respect that. I can't really play Crucible until this is out of play. Unless I want to Ghost Quarter 2 of my opponent's lands while they are ahead in terms of power. That doesn't make sense to me. I think I just play Saga out. I will take 6 here. I go to 7. This potentially kills me next turn if it gets any bigger, which it does. It's a 7/8. Oh, okay. Yeah, opponent does have Alurin stuff in there. So they are Alurin, Nick Fit, Anti-Fantasticar, Pernicious Deed pile. There's Uro. So opponent gets a redraw. And this can chump block something, but then I am taking the majority of my life total. Oh, opponent can also just do this for 0 and clear my token. Okay, I think they've got it there. GG's. I've got a better idea of what my opponent is doing. It's still very strange. I think Chalice of the Void is just bad. I think my opponent's stuff is way too varied. I can just play more Disruptor Flutes in the main deck. My opponent's deck is kind of hitting on weird angles that I don't like, and then I'll do Pithing Needle for Deed. This is not turn 1 Sphere. This is turn 2 Sphere and a handful of other tools. This is fine. Certainly not overly exciting. Here is a Pithing Needle. I'm going to put that on Deed immediately and not think about that until my opponent has something like a Force of Vigor that ruins my life. If I'm not sweating Disruptor Flute, I can just play Urza Saga immediately and start trying to win the game. That line is just particularly bad versus Force of Vigor. I think I'm going to do it anyway. Here is a Sphere of Resistance. It's in play. Do we eat Force of Vigor on both of these? Seems like yes. Yep, that is the worst case scenario. Thanks, I hate it. Basic Forest comes down. It's another Sphere, which is awkward because I want to resolve these other cards. I think I am not going to play Sphere, and I think I'm going to Disruptor Flute at my opponent's end step. Your Brainstorm is fine. Verdant Catacombs comes down. Opponent grabs Swamp and plays out a Barrogoyf. Thanks, I hate it. My current resources are not great versus that. Ensnaring Bridge will beat that handily, but my opponent's deck like randomly has Pernicious Deed as well. We're going to name Force of Will and just take that off of the table in the future. They've missed on land. I can't play Sphere. I might just die to not drawing enough mana here. The worst case scenario of my opponent having Force of Vigor knocked me off of my 3rd mana source, which I needed for everything else in my hand. And this is going to be a self-scaling threat. Is not good for me. It does not hit anything. Opponent is so much more able than the average Legacy deck to fight over permanents. With Deed, Abrupt Decay, Force of Vigor. There's land. Okay, cool. So now I start playing Crucibles, which not super likely to resolve the first one. The first one's not amazing either, because I played a land drop to play that, so I don't get the immediate value out of it. I am probably taking 8 to 10 more damage from this Barrogoyf, maybe 8 to 12. Then I expect that my current resources would stabilize against it. Opponent fetching. Okay. Opponent mills over an enchantment, finds a Veteran Explorer. There's an Uro. Sure. Puts a Tundra into play. My opponent can't cast the Veteran Explorer. There's a Strix. Sure. So 3 mana for Crucible. Get an Urza Saga into play. I have to pass the turn there. I need something that beats Goyf, which probably means Ensnaring Bridge. And then I have to hope that my opponent doesn't have an answer to Ensnaring Bridge on top of that. So, situation's not great. There's Recruiter of the Guard as well. There's also Uro coming back from the graveyard. I think I'm buried here. I think this deck that is very clearly pointed at the Fantasticar happens to overlap with what I am trying to accomplish in a bad way for me. Some black spell is happening. Ball Therapy, you've got it. Ozilek's Command, sure. They can flash that back if they feel like any of my cards are meaningful. I don't think any of my cards are meaningful. Veteran Explorer. So you can get your lands if you have any. I already revealed that I don't have any. Opponent takes my sphere. Plays Uro. That is a Karn. But I don't think it's a Karn with enough mana to do anything, because these aren't online yet. So I have 4 or 5 mana. I can block one of these, die to the other. My opponent's got it there. Mana base only its parents could love, but they had the tools to beat me. GG's, I think we are now 2-2. Alright, opening hand is fine. Apologies if I seem distracted this round. I just got absolutely rattled by something that is not magic related that I need to follow up on after I stacks my opponent to death. My opening hand is sweet though. This is going to be one of the rudest things I've ever done. So I get to wasteland my opponent to play around days, and then play Chalice of the Void on 1 on top of that. Which is just so fucking rude. And then in 2 turns, I will have Crucible Wasteland as well. This is potentially a show and tell deck, in which case I would love to draw an Ensnaring Bridge. I'll do Nexus and pass. That way, if I happen to draw a Tron land, I can drop Crucible of Worlds without taking a couple points of damage from Ancient Tomb. Opponent is in the Bant ballpark. They don't want a Tamiyo? Tamiyo's such a good card, though. Why wouldn't you want Tamiyo? Opponent has Wasteland. Absolutely. Absolutely. No! Traitor! Ghost Quarter pass turn. Lorien revealed? Lorien revealed. Not very many things you can do for 1 mana under a Chalice of the Void. Tundra comes down. Ooh, Wrath of the Skies. Yeah, that can clear my Chalice. That opens up other avenues for me this game, though. Oh, shit. Yes, I will do that before Crucible, 100%. This is incredible if it resolves, and it eats Daze or Force of Will. If it doesn't, alright, nice. So then hopefully next turn I get to just play Crucible uncounterably and start wastelanding my opponent, and then they never recover from that. Alright, they are playing a spell. Tropical Island Teferi, sure. Bounce my Trinisphere. Do I play Crucible Wasteland immediately? It's definitely more awkward with Teferi in play. I think I just try to re-resolve the Trinisphere. I think I'm going to play my map while Trinisphere is not in play. Jam Trinisphere into Daze. Excellent. And then every few turns, my opponent can bounce something out of play with Teferi, but I eventually turn Expedition Map into Urza's Saga into Pithing Needle. I think I just Saga now. Get Saga. Deploy Saga. I don't know that I want to cast Crucible into this open mana. I think I'm going to Chalice. Okay, so opponent gets to Brainstorm and use that card before Chalice sticks, but it looks like Chalice is sticking. And now we're just hoping they don't have another Wrath of the Skies to clear all 3 of these at the same time. If they do, I pull the trigger on Crucible, and hopefully things are not all that bad. Mystic Sanctuary will do it. Yeah, I mean, that's what I don't want to see. Teferi up to 3. Land. Pass. Alright, well, the Construct token doesn't matter anymore. How many white sources do you have? Like, can I just fully keep you from casting the card? That's probably exceptionally greedy. The blowout is so bad. Like, just so devastatingly bad if that doesn't work. Alright, Karn resolves. I will Karn minus and pick up something good for after a Wrath of the Skies. Disruptor Flute stopping Teferi is kind of nice. I think that is the angle that I will take. Oh, right. Wrath of the Skies can be done at instant speed due to the Teferi plus. Yes. So that still leaves me with Karn, and longer term, Karn, Trinisphere, Crucible stuff all gets to happen. Flow State is good. Misty Rainforest. Wow, 4 mana Prismatic Ending for Karn. That is not something you see every day. My best lines involve playing Crucible this turn. Like, I can go Crucible, play a land from graveyard, shut off Teferi. I'm going to take that and be sad if my opponent has a force effect. They don't. Saga or Wasteland into play? I think Wasteland. Then 2 mana for Disruptor Flute and put it on Teferi. That eats a Force of Negation pitching another Teferi. Absolutely. But my opponent can bounce my Crucible out of play and then figure out what they want to do with their life. Misty comes down. We're getting to the point where I'm expecting my opponent to find a Riddler or a 4th Aerlingus and start trying to turn the corner on the game. I don't know how much time I get before they find a win con. There's another flow state. Yeah, they're digging pretty deep here. All right, there is a win con. I can probably attack my opponent's green mana very aggressively to keep that from being a win con, though. So let's try that. This is a big deal, but I don't think I have the time to play Trinisphere first. So now I go after green mana. I don't know that I can Ghost Quarter as well. Next turn, I can play Karn. If Karn resolves, I get Tormod's Crypt. Just confirming. Fuck. Now I have a different thing to worry about. And I am at 8. I've taken so much damage from my own Ancient Tomb. Teferi pluses. Opponent cycles this. They probably have a Hedge Maze that they want to use now so that next turn they can Uro. That's reasonable. Ensnaring Bridge is also not super safe with an onboard Teferi. Land drop Karn. That just has to happen. I need to Karn minus. Say yes. There's Tormod's Crypt. Tormod's Crypt clears Uro. Now, Triumph kills Karn. Teferi pluses. I gotta run so hot here. Oh, going at my face. Just saying your Karn is not good enough. Which might be true. Cameo. Yep. I needed, like, Disruptor Flute to stop Teferi earlier so that Bridge can stop this from killing me here. I have 4 mana with Karn, not counting Ancient Tomb. So I can play a Bridge, but it gets bounced. And I don't have enough mana for something like this. Yeah, they've got it here. GG. Disruptor Flute for Teferi and Tamiyo seems incredibly important. I think I'm getting rid of Chalice of the Void. I don't think that card does enough here. Wrath of the Skies is good against my deck. All right, I think these are the changes that I'm making. Okay, my opening hand is slow. I don't know that I mulligan it or anything, but if opponent begins the game with a Tamiyo in play and my first play is a turn 3 thing, I probably just lose. So hopefully they don't play Tamiyo on turn 1. Undra. Not Tamiyo. Great. So if I draw a land, I can Wasteland my opponent, and if I don't draw a land, I just play Wasteland and pass the turn. Alright, so I will just play Wasteland and pass the turn. I would love to draw another land or a Spirit Guide for next turn. Opponent has their own Wasteland. Sure. That is good right now. Crucible is great as long as I draw a land. I've got more than an Emrakul worth of converted mana cost in my hand right now. Opponent brainstorms. Yeah, I have 19 mana worth of spells in my hand. Nightmare scenario is probably Wrath of the Skies blowing up an Urza Saga here before I get all of these cool 3-drops into play. Fuck. I think we just did not get mana, and I lose for it. I can't play this. I just fully can't play this. I think even as bait, that is too risky. Opponent has Triumph immediately. What a disaster. If I draw any land, I have like bridges and Trinispheres and like even this sphere. That makes this not a thing. But we didn't. Savannah comes down from my opponent. Alright, there's a Spirit Guide. So I will float a mana, Pithing Needle Teferi, then go 1, 2, 3, attempt my first Crucible, pray that it resolves. Fuck. Yep. So the choice off Urza Saga was Pithing Needle for Teferi for a longer game, or get Expedition Map so that when I draw any land, I produce a 3rd land. Opponent brainstorms, drops a Volk, crashes in for some damage. Yeah, and this just may fully be that I never got mana and do not play Magic. The Ensnaring Bridge that is in my hand probably stops this. assuming that I draw the mana to cast it before I just bottom out. Down to 10. That's an uncastable card. If I draw a soul land next turn, I play bridge, and I have too many cards in hand, and I will just die to that card. Yeah, we just fully did not play Magic that round. That is unfortunate. That is a 2-3 finish to this league, which is surprising given the previous 5-0 and 4-1 that felt so very good. Let's go ahead and wrap this one up. Overall thoughts on the deck list. Despite the record here, I really like the theory behind this deck list. I suspect that this is the best version of the deck that I have played, despite the negative record of today's video. The creature-based decks are slightly problematic for us. And that's not surprising given that we are gunning for the unfair decks that are 50% of the metagame. But when we get paired against the decks that just drop Barrowgoyfs and Ocelot Prides and whatnot, there's not a ton of redundancy for Ensnaring Bridge. I have 7 cards that I need to hit, Karns and Bridge. And in particular, if my opponent has creatures and the ability to easily answer my permanents, like in that weird Alurin Nickfit hybrid deck, they are probably going to have a positive matchup versus us. I think I still give this one a thumbs up. We lost today. Some of that was my fault. Some of that was the deck building's fault. Some of that was Variance's fault. Like, maybe I need to mulligan hands that don't have enough mana more aggressively than I'm doing. But, like, I am a 26 land deck that also has 7 Spirit Guides. I think I can keep a 2-lander and reasonably expect to find lands in, like, 3 draws. And that was just not the case in a couple of those keeps. Yeah, sound off in the comments below. What do you think about this one? Was I a madman or was I cooking? You let me know. I've got to go look into some stuff that I probably can't talk about. And I hope you all have a great rest of the day. See ya!